back. The inquest to establish that if anyone should be criminally charged for the death of Life Esidimeni patients 5 years ago is continuing today. 144 psychiatric patients died after they were moved to unregistered NGOs by the Gauteng Health Department. ETV News and sports reporter Riante Padayachee following the inquest very closely for us, joining us now live this hour on the Midday View. Riante, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday View on eNCA, where the inquest has been met yet with another postponement. When you and I last spoke, the people who were implicated were given 2 days to today to find legal representation. So what happens?
Well, Bradan, they did that, but unfortunately some senior counsel were briefed a little bit too late. This morning, Judge Tefo unfortunately had to postpone proceedings once again, and this is for quite a bit now. It's for about a week, and that's because, for example, Advocate Russell Sibara, who's now representing Dr. Magabo Manamela, she was the former head of mental health here in Gauteng during the Life Esidimeni tragedy. Unfortunately, he says he was only called at about 8:30 last night. He spent, most of last night consulting with his client, and this is obviously not sufficient time for him to have been brought up to speed. He also told Judge Tefo that he had no access to case lines, which is the court's online case management tool. He hadn't had the privilege of seeing witness lists, and that all he simply had before him was a pen and a piece of paper. So he didn't feel as though he was adequately up to speed to proceed this morning. Let's take a listen to what he had to say to Judge Tefo.
I only managed to communicate with my client throughout the better part of the night. I am not even having access to case line. I don't even have the list of witnesses. And I've got nothing except a pen and a paper in front of me. I'm quite aware, my lady, that this is a very serious matter, which a number of people died, and I respect the court's time. We don't want to, or rather intend to waste the court's time, but the court would understand that I just came into the proceedings last night.
Well, a couple of days ago, when we spoke, Riante, you told me how the families were hoping there'll be no more postponements, but I understand Judge Tefo was not happy to postpone again.
Well, I mean, you've got to understand, Bradan, these families have been waiting an incredibly long time for justice, while the arbitration hearings, which happened between 2017 and 2018, did, see them get some form of compensation. Not all families have been compensated fully to date. So it's really a harrowing experience that they've had to live out all these years. Now, essentially what families want out of this inquest is to see criminal charges being posed. But Judge Tefo this morning, she was gracious enough to, obviously ask a fellow senior counsel, as there are many parties in this matter, their opinion on a postponement. And they all concurred that if all senior counsel weren't adequately briefed and they weren't up to speed, especially with a matter as serious as this, then not everybody would be fairly represented, and that would not be fair in essence. So Judge Tefo said that, legal representation is a very important matter, and she encouraged parties who obviously just recently obtained their legal representatives to use all of next week to obviously get up to speed with proceedings and consult adequately with their legal representatives. So the proceedings, we understand, will now resume on the 2nd of August.
And what can we expect?
Well, we actually were meant to hear the cross-examination of Dr. Basukum Kachwa. Now, he was the former managing director of Life Esidimeni, and he testified about essentially how they tried to intervene at so many steps to prevent the Gauteng Health Department from haphazardly moving patients. But unfortunately, that proceeded. I mean, he told Judge Tefo that they had even offered to vet these NGOs and train their staff, because dealing with mental health patients was a very, very very critical type of job. He's to face cross-examination, and then we're also going to hear from the nursing services manager at Life Esidimeni, Zanele Buthelezi. But then also in the coming weeks, we can definitely expect to hear from the heads of those NGOs where patients were placed. And obviously, Bradan, we're all very much anticipating hearing again from former Gauteng health officials.
Yeah, just remind our viewers very quickly, in case somebody has just joined us now, when are the hearings resuming? When is the inquest resuming?
Yes, it will resume on the 2nd of August. So all of next week they won't be, and the following Monday it will kick off again.
Thank you very much, Riante Padayachee, ETV News and Sport reporter. Inquest postponed again to resume on the 2nd of August. Nothing next week, the week after, that Monday, the first Monday of the month of August.